Hey guys, JC Smith here. No, your eyes do not deceive you. This is the 04 F150 project. I was tearing this thing down. I gotta tell you, you can see how far back the engine is set back from the radiator and how low it is, and it was getting more and more difficult. And I told myself I wasn't going to take this cab off, but I got back here, and there's some stuff here, these brackets. The firewall is right here, and it's really low. So these are going to be a pain in the butt. And I'd never taken this body style, the 04 and up cab off before, so I thought I'd give it a shot. Now, I will say this. If I did it again, I'd do it differently. I wouldn't go in the cab and take these loose. I wasn't sure how these were made. Like I traditionally do, we go inside and we take the cab mounts loose. These are pinned for alignment like this. So I would probably, next time I would just take the nuts loose. But I didn't know how that piece was put together down there and if I'd have to separate the mounts or what exactly works. So that's the way we did it this time. If I had to do it again, I would just take, as you can see right here, maybe you can, maybe the sun will work, maybe it won't, probably not. Yeah, there's studs under there. So that's how I'd do it if I was to do it again. But, so here's where we're at with this thing. I can't say I've made a decision on which way we're going with the engine, but just out of pure curiosity, we're going to go ahead and pull the motor out, because it's got to come out anyways, but we are going to disassemble, look in the pan, let's see what we got, just for information, because I really don't think I'm going to rebuild that engine, because when I start doing the numbers on it, alright, and you start figuring out what it's going to cost, I am so close to what a reman would cost from Ford. And I'm not interested in the Jasper rebuild, remanufacture, whatever you want to call it, or any other company. And the only reason I'm going to tell you that is I have seen over the years so many Jaspers with catastrophic failure. I have no idea if that was because the guy who owned it didn't take care of it, whatever the case, but when you've seen as many as I have, I'm not willing to put my money out there for that chance. But Ford is going to be my preference. I'm just not sure which way I'm going to go. Now, there is another option. There is an engine I could put in this that comes in a certain bread truck, and that is so much more attractive to me, except for one thing. When I look at doing that, I said, I don't know if I said it in one of the other videos, but I mean, look how tiny this transmission is. I mean, I just worry about that. Not that the engine I'm talking about, well, if you don't know what I'm talking about a 4BT Cummins. A 4-cylinder Cummins is what it is. They're not huge horsepower, but they do make good torque. And, this is a V8 gas, so it doesn't make nearly the torque that a long-stroke diesel would, especially in inline. It's going to be a 4-cylinder, so it's going to be in line. But, the reality is, it's not just an engine. It's an engine, it's a transmission, and it's a transfer case by the time you get it all bolted together. So, and that is time. I don't think it's something that's outside of my ability, that I couldn't get it figured out so that, everything works correctly. Of course, the cruise control would be something different, because the 4BT I'd be talking about would be a mechanical engine. So I would have to come up with some type of aftermarket, probably, cruise control for that, but that's okay. The air conditioning wouldn't be such a big deal. I wouldn't need idle up when the air conditioning's on and you're turning the wheel, because a 4-cylinder Cummins would probably make enough power that it wouldn't be a big deal, as far as stalling at low speeds when you're turning the wheel with the air on or coming to a stop or stuff like that. So those are some of the concerns I'm thinking about. But for pure time, I'm just not sure I want to go that 4BT, just because I have so many projects already that I need to get back to. I just don't want to start another one. Now, that being said, I went ahead and took the bed off, and I probably don't have to tell you where we're going with this. You know, I mean, we're here. Seems silly to me not to fire up the pressure washer, clean it up real good, and I don't know, give it an oil base overhaul. I don't know, maybe. So anyways, the goal for today is to get the 5.4 out, get it on the stand, you know, drain the oil out of it, get a look at it. I may just put it on the bench and, you know, put it on the what would be the back of the engine where the your bell housing would bolt to, and stand it up. Maybe do it that way. It might be easier to work with than an engine stand, at least in this situation. Now, if I do go with the Ford, I got to put all this back together. Now, it doesn't have to be back together like running, but you know, all the pieces have to be back together and back in the crate. So I'm waiting on a phone call back from the Ford dealer we deal with, as far as what the final cost is. I do have an account with them that I use, so I get a little bit of a break, so it might be better than I think. And you know what the core charge is, and if they still have that same core charge policy, which means as long as it's complete, you get core credit. It doesn't have to be a complete rebuildable core, like you could have a hole in the block or whatever the case. So that I need to know, and then how far out they are, because this was something I really wanted to just whiz boom bang. I wanted to bring it in, get it apart, get it fixed, get it back together, and start driving it. That was the whole intention of buying this truck, so that because I liked it. I wanted to use it as like a daily driver. So that's enough trap flapping. I'm gonna get this uncovered and get my butt to work. Alright guys, so the engine's out. Pretty uneventful, really. I got the engine on the stand. I got it flipped upside down, and there's the rest of my lash adjuster. They came apart. There's some piston pieces. So far, I have yet to find the rest of the valve stem. Some pieces in the oil pickup. Grab a flashlight for me. Some pieces in the oil pickup, but that certainly isn't enough to be. Oh, looky there. There's a piece of the piston right there from when I flipped it over. I took the oil pan off after I flipped it upside down, but you can clearly see down there. See, I'm moving the flashlight on down that cylinder. There's a piece of piston there, and I'm not really seeing the other piece yet, but anyways, let's roll it around and see what we can find out here. Get some more crap out of this thing. Alright, so here's the oil pickup tube. Look at all this crud on here. You know, this is telltale signs of, you know, engine that's been not taken care of, right? That's somebody who didn't change oil very often. You can hear the rest of the crap in the pickup tube shaking around in there. That's still piston. I haven't found the push rod yet, or I mean the valve stem. I have no idea where that valve stem's at yet, but down in here, look at how caked up the whole engine is. I mean, even if it didn't break a piston, there's no way you could put this together and put it back together and expect it to be something that's going to last any amount of time. Because I mean, this just looks like it's neglect, you know. Alright, so we're going to take off what would be number 5, I think. Let's see what the bearing looks like here. You guys can see when I do. You gotta be kidding me. I would not have believed this if I didn't see this with my own eyes. Look at that. I don't know how well that shows up, but That's a nice bearing. Look here at the crank. That crank is in nice shape right there. Alright, now, these are fracture rods, alright? See how they look like they've been broke? I mean, that's what they are. They've been broke. When they're made, they're forged as one piece, and then they're machined to the right size, and then they're broke to take them apart. So, you certainly can't get these on wrong. If you got these put on wrong, you got bigger troubles than just fractured rods. Now, I'm going to push the piston all the way down so it's out of my way. Then I'm going to set this stuff off to the side because I really don't want to put this back. Man, I guess I should just put it back together. I don't know. For right now, I think I'll leave it apart because I'm not sure what's going on. You know, somebody commented and said that, you know, you shouldn't do just that one cylinder, bore it out. Well, I never had any intentions of that, to tell you the truth. I have no intentions of ever just boring out one cylinder. You know, if I do anything to this motor, it will be everything, top to bottom. Bore out all the cylinders, new rings, new pistons, probably new rods, new vane bearings, new rod bearings. Yeah, you gotta be kidding me. All that metal that went down through there, and look at that. I mean, we got some discoloration. Now that was an original oil pan too, oil pan gasket. I don't think that had been off. That's a testament, you know. Got some real light marks here. Can you see that? But I can't even feel them with my fingernail. So, I mean, still it's got some. Can you get it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can barely see it, but nothing big at all. Anyways, I think I'm going to go ahead and just put these back together the way they were. For those of you who don't know, that keyway should go keyway to keyway. When you put it back together, you can see how the keyway with the bearings down in there, it locks it in place. That's the way this is supposed to go. Just like that. I'm obviously not going to torque this because it's pointless. You know, this motor will never go back together like this. I just have to decide if which way we're going to go. I really want to go with the reman Ford engine because I think that's the absolute best. But yeah, here, you can see the line coming this way. You can see the line from the fracture. See how it's not a straight machine?
Point to it again. I don't know why.
It's right here. Oh. You pull that apart, you can see it. So there's the fracture. Anyways, I definitely prefer to go with the Ford reman engine, which, you know, Ford doesn't. I'm just snugging them down just so they're not going to come loose and hurt anything. Ford doesn't reman them. I'm sure some company does it for them. But even so, I mean, a 3-year unlimited mileage warranty. You know, Rare Parts Hunter used to be Dude of Rare Parts. Changed his name on his channel here recently. But you know, he was saying, you know, I don't want to get in that situation like we did in the Lincoln, where I'm gonna be losing money. But you know, I really don't intend on selling this thing. I've never intended on selling it since I bought it. But you know, you're right. You just never know what could happen. You know, things could change in an instant, and something could happen that I don't want to fool with it. And look at that! I let it go too far. The ring's out.
Well, like you say, you always keep them until they're sold.
That is a fact. I keep them all till I sell them. But I have no intentions of selling this, at least today. But it's early. I'm going to take out that #1 piston. You know, we started with the one farthest, the bearing farthest from the oil pan. And, or farthest from the oil pump is what I'm trying to say. You know, a lot of times I got so much crap on my mind, I'm thinking 6 and 7 steps ahead, right? I'm going to tell you, man, you can't argue with that. I mean, this thing had how much metal in the pickup tube, metal missing. And again, I mean, you can see some lines on here, but I can't even feel them. I can't feel them with my fingernail. It feels smooth as glass right there. And that's number one. That's the one with the hole in the piston. You know, maybe that one will pull out. You know, the design of these motors might be bad. As far as the cam followers go, you know, with fatigue and the problems that they have, but man, that's something to be said for a motor that can go through that much grief.
That's bad.
Think we can put a little
Duct tape?
little silicone on there and send it back to work?
No.
No. You know, I'd still love to see where the rest of the valve stem is. I can't imagine it made its way out. Yeah, this is what I mean about you can't put these together wrong. Look at that. You know? If you did, oh boy. And there you can see where the locking tabs are on each one. That's what you can see that in there. Anyways, pretty good testament to this 5.4. I mean, that's a lot of abuse. First, you know, somebody didn't take care of it, didn't change the oil well. Oh, look at that. It broke the bottom of the piston, but it stayed there. It didn't come out. Can you see that right there? That's where that puncture hole is. That was probably maybe when it first happened. But, you know, nobody changed the oil regular. That's what all this mess is. But the bearings still look good. It was an original oil pan gasket, as far as I can tell. It didn't look like it'd been removed. It looks like a factory pan. And hey, look at this. We only have one color of silicone there. That's a bonus. We don't have somebody else in the oil pan. At least there wasn't 2 different times or something. But you know, there's no doubt in my mind this is for sure fixable. Just not sure it's cost effective for what I want to do. I believe I could get the other one and be much happier. Mostly because of the warranty, because you know, that's a pretty incredible warranty. Alright, we're going to spin this thing over. We're going to look at that cylinder wall now. I guess I'll leave that in place. Bar this thing over here. Pay attention. Don't pay attention to that. We don't want anybody to see what I'm doing with that. The safety police will be on us. Can't have that. Can't tell anybody I dropped the motor either.
If you're worried about safety, you wouldn't get anything done.
Well, you got to be within reason.
Yeah, well, I mean, to a point.
Yeah, but I could do a lot of things a lot safer than I do, that's for sure. Alright, where's our flashlight get to? Yeah, I was doing oh so well and draining all my fluids and all that stuff, and then I had the engine hanging, and lo and behold, it fell and spilled every bit of that antifreeze we saved. It's all, I mean, we're
oil dry everywhere.
Yeah, so that was what? 2.5 gallons on the floor?
Yeah.
After taking all that time to drain it so nice. Alright, let me take this a second. I don't know if you guys are seeing what I'm seeing, but man, that is, it's really, for what happened in this cylinder, I just can't believe there's not a hole or some great big gouges. Not bad at all. Anyway, so there's a teardown. That's where we're at. This is probably going to be the end of this until I either get an engine or decide to strip this down and send it out. I gotta tell you, I'm just not seeing strip it down, send it out to machine shop, any of that crap. I'm really thinking I just need to get that forward. That's really what I want to do. I just have to justify the cost. to the vehicle. And I think the vehicle's worth it for what I paid for it, to what I'd have in it, because you know, you figure the cost of the engine plus all the fluids, forget my time, because, you know, it's for me, but you know, we do stuff for ourselves, we don't get paid. But you know, then it's like, where do you stop? Because I mean, this transmission is never going to be this easy to replace, you know. And then it's like, okay, well, if we do that, well, look at that frame. You know, maybe that should be pressure washed and cleaned up, and I don't know, maybe a little facelift, maybe an oil base overhaul. I don't know. But there we are. That's what we got. Show you guys all the way through, and once I decide what I'm going to do, I'll bring you back. But as of right now, until I decide which way to go, we're going to move on to something else. Probably getting the box off that F150. I may have somebody who'd like to have that, and I'd sure like to have it off there. So with that, I'm going to leave you. There's where we're at. You know, say anything you want about Ford engines and their bad design, but I got to tell you, man, a cylinder that can hold up to that, no damage, and the cranks still look like that. And remember, we took the farthest one from the oil pump off, and it looked the same. So, anyways, alright guys, I'm going to leave you with that. If you guys like what we're doing, give us these thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, leave your comments down below. We'll catch you on the next one.